The number glared at me from my laptop screen. I refreshed the page 3 times, but Nora's trust portfolio balance didn't magically reappear. 10 years of careful investments, gone. My hands weren't shaking. They should have been shaking. But instead, they moved with precise calm as I dialed my mother's number. I'm Rebecca, and I've spent my entire adult life being the responsible one, the planner, the sister who gave up dating, traveling, and dreaming, so my younger sister Nora could have a future that had just vanished with a few keystrokes. "Oh, that," my mother said, her voice airy and dismissive. "Your father and I needed to make a withdrawal. Cameron's been having such a rough time lately. You know how it is." I didn't know how it was. I never knew how it was with Cameron. "That money was for Nora's care," I said, keeping my voice level. "It wasn't yours to take." "Don't be dramatic, Rebecca. We're family. What's yours is ours. Besides, Cameron needed a confidence boost. The Porsche is already doing wonders for his social life." The Porsche? They'd emptied my sister's future to buy my brother a sports car. "Where did you get access?" I asked, though I already knew. Dad had been a co-signer on the original account, a mistake I'd never make again. "Listen, sweetie, while we're talking about family matters," Mum continued, ignoring my question, "your father and I have been thinking. We're getting older, and that big house of yours is just sitting there with only you and Nora. We should really discuss transferring the deed to us for our retirement." The house, my house, the one thing I'd managed to buy outright, the safe haven I'd created for Nora and myself. "Come over Friday," I said, surprising myself with how steady my voice remained. "We can discuss everything then." "Perfect. We'll bring the paperwork we had drawn up. You're such a good daughter, always thinking of family." I ended the call and sat in silence, staring at the zero balance that represented a decade of betrayal. Nora wheeled herself into my home office, her eyes questioning. She might be non-verbal, but she's always been the most perceptive person I know. "It's okay," I lied, reaching for her hand. "Just some family business." She squeezed my fingers 3 times, our code for "I don't believe you." My phone buzzed with a text from Cameron. "Thanks, sis. You should see this baby purr. Taking her out tonight with the guys." I blocked his number, then I called Jordan. We hadn't spoken since the breakup, but she was still the best real estate attorney I knew. She picked up on the 3rd ring. "Rebecca, it's been a while." "I need your help," I said. "How quickly can you arrange a private house sale?" "Depends. Are we talking about your place on Maple?" "Yes." "And Jordan? It needs to be done by Friday." There was a long pause. What happened? "They took everything from Nora's trust, every penny I saved for her care, and now they want the house." "Jesus, Rebecca!" Another pause. "Come to my office first thing tomorrow. Bring all your documentation." After hanging up, I walked to the window. The setting sun cast long shadows across our garden, the one Nora and I had planted together, one careful seedling at a time. My parents had never visited to see it bloom. I opened my laptop again and began typing. To Mom. Subject, Friday meeting. Will meet you at the house at 2 p.m. Bringing paperwork for review. Please have Cameron come as well. Family meeting. I hit send and turned to find Nora watching me. She raised an eyebrow, her way of asking if I was okay. "No," I said honestly, "but I will be." She gestured toward her communication tablet, typing slowly but deliberately. "What are you planning?" I knelt beside her wheelchair, taking both her hands in mine. "Remember when we were kids and Mum and Dad would always say, 'Family takes care of family'?" Nora nodded. "Well, they're right. Family does take care of family, and you're the only family that matters to me now." My sister's eyes widened slightly. She knew me well enough to recognize when I'd made an irrevocable decision. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just said, "They want to talk about inheritance on Friday? Fine, let's talk about inheritance." That night, I stayed up late, making calls and sending emails. By morning, I had 3 meetings scheduled with potential cash buyers. By Friday, someone else would own 1847 Maple Street. And my parents? They would learn exactly what it feels like when family takes care of family. By the time I was 12, I realized I wasn't their daughter. I was their backup plan. The memory hit me hard as I sat in Jordan's office the next morning, spreading out a decade's worth of financial records across her desk. "Look at this," I said, pointing to a document from 2013. "My first major investment for Nora. I was 23, fresh out of college. While Cameron was partying in Cancun on Mom and Dad's dime, I was working 2 jobs to build this portfolio." Jordan adjusted her glasses, scanning the papers. She looked exactly as I remembered. Sharp blazer, sharper eyes, and that slight frown she got when she was thinking deeply. "You set this up as a trust, but your father remained a co-signer." "They insisted, said it was protection in case something happened to me." I laughed bitterly. Protection for them, apparently. "Tell me about the house arrangement," Jordan said, pulling out a fresh legal pad. "I bought it 3 years ago, right after we—" I hesitated, right after we broke up. "After Nora's accident, put it in a living trust with immediate liquidation power. They don't know about that part." Jordan's pen stopped moving. "The living trust was my suggestion, wasn't it? Right before everything ended between us?" "Yeah, guess I should thank you for that now." A knock at the door interrupted us. Jordan's assistant entered with coffee, and I welcomed the distraction. The room had gotten too heavy with unspoken words. "Your parents never contributed?" Jordan asked, returning to business mode. I pulled out my sacred ledger, a detailed record of every penny I'd saved, invested, and grown for Nora. "See for yourself, 10 years of my contributions, not a single deposit from them." Jordan flipped through the pages, her frown deepening. "These numbers? Rebecca, this is impressive. You must have been living on nothing." Nora needed it more than I needed vacation days or new clothes. I took a sip of coffee. "You remember how they always talked about her? She'll eventually need a facility." Like she was a problem to solve, not a person to love. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. Cameron was still posting photos of his new Porsche. "Blessed Mansarch's family first." "Turn on your tablet," I told Jordan. "I want to show you something." I pulled up the investment account's transaction history. Look at the withdrawal pattern. They didn't take it all at once. They drained it slowly over 2 months, probably hoping I wouldn't notice until it was too late. "That's premeditated fraud," Jordan said quietly. "We could press charges." "No," I shook my head. "I have something better in mind. How fast can you process a house sale?" Jordan leaned back in her chair. "With a motivated cash buyer? 3 days, minimum. But, Rebecca, are you sure about this?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the latest photo Cameron had posted. Him lounging on the hood of the Porsche, our parents beaming beside him. The caption read, "Thanks for always believing in me. Moving back home soon." "They think they're moving into my house on Friday," I said. "They think I'm their backup plan forever. But here's what they don't know, Jordan. I learned how to play their game. I learned it watching them my whole life." Jordan was quiet for a long moment. Then she opened her laptop. "I know a buyer who's been looking in your area. Private, discreet, can close fast. His name is Walker. Set it up, today if possible." As I gathered my papers to leave, Jordan caught my wrist. "Beck, what about Nora? How's she handling all this?" The nickname hit me like a punch to the gut. Only Jordan had ever called me that. "She knows something's coming," I said. "She always knows, but she trusts me to protect her. It's what I've always done." "And what about you? Who protects you?" I pulled my hand away gently. I learned to do that myself. Remember? Walking out of Jordan's office, I checked my phone again. 3 missed calls from Mum, 2 from Dad. A text from Cameron asking if he could store his winter clothes in my basement. I thought about the day they'd told me Nora would be my responsibility. I was 16, she was 11. "You're the reliable one," they'd said. "You'll make sure she's taken care of." They'd been right about one thing. I would make sure Nora was taken care of, just not in the way they expected. I called Jordan's office back. "Tell Walker I can show him the house this afternoon. And Jordan, make sure the sale contract is ironclad. My parents are good at finding loopholes." "Don't worry," she replied. "They taught you well, maybe too well." She was right about that too. They taught me everything I needed to know about family, loyalty, and revenge. Now it was time to put those lessons to use. Walker arrived exactly on time, his black Tesla parking silently in my driveway. He wore an expensive suit, but carried himself with the careful attention of someone who remembered not having money. I liked that about him immediately. "Beautiful property," he said, extending his hand. "Jordan mentioned you're looking for a quick private sale." "That's right." I led him through the front door. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, completely renovated kitchen. The back garden is wheelchair accessible. He noticed the ramp, the wider doorways, the subtle modifications that made this house Nora's home as much as mine. "The accessibility features, they're staying?" "Yes, non-negotiable." Walker nodded, making notes on his phone. "I appreciate attention to detail. These modifications are professional work." We toured the house in comfortable silence. He asked smart questions about the foundation, the roof, the HVAC system. No emotional appeals about making memories or raising families. Just business. "Jordan mentioned you prefer anonymity," I said as we reached the kitchen. "Any particular reason?" Walker's expression shifted slightly. "Let's say I understand family complications. Speaking of which," he gestured to the moving boxes stacked in the corner. "Those aren't mine," I said. "My parents shipped them ahead. They're under the impression they're moving in this weekend." "Ah," Walker's eyes narrowed. "And they don't know about the sale?" "They don't know many things." I pulled out the listing agreement. The asking price is firm. Walker studied the number, then looked around the kitchen again. "I'll offer 15% above asking. Cash. We close Thursday." I didn't blink. 20% above, and you let me leave the moving boxes exactly where they are." He smiled, a sharp, knowing expression. "Deal. I'll have my attorney draft the paperwork tonight." My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. I opened it to find Cameron posting a video of himself racing the Porsche down back roads, music blasting. "Living my best life, the France blessed déjà new rides to a family forever." "Bad news?" Walker asked, noticing my expression. "No, just Karma loading its ammunition." I closed the app. "Jordan will handle all the paperwork. I assume you want to keep your name off public records?" "If possible. I prefer to let my actions speak for themselves." He paused at the door. "Miss Rebecca, one last question. Are you certain about this? Family situations can be complicated." "They made it simple," I said. "They took everything I built for my sister and gave it to my brother for a car. He called it his lucky car, and I found myself wondering if I should let it catch fire." Walker's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. Recognition, maybe. Understanding. "Thursday, then. Jordan has my details." After he left, I went to check on Nora. She was in her room, painting, her latest passion. Her brush moved in precise strokes across the canvas, creating a scene of a house on fire. "That's interesting," I said, sitting beside her. She reached for her tablet. "You're burning bridges." "No," I replied. "I'm clearing the ground to build new ones." Another text from Mum. "Sweetie, We need to discuss the house transfer before Friday. Your father's having his lawyer draw up papers. Call me." I showed Nora the message. She typed, "They always take, never ask." "Not anymore," I promised her. "Not from us." That evening, I received an urgent call from Jordan. "Rebecca, your mother just tried to file paperwork claiming partial ownership of the house based on verbal agreements and family understanding." I laughed. "Let me guess, it didn't work because of the trust structure you helped me set up." "Exactly. But Beck, they're getting desperate. Be careful." "I'm always careful. That's why they never saw me coming." After hanging up, I went through the moving boxes they'd shipped ahead. Photos of Cameron's graduations, sports trophies, family vacations I'd never been invited on because someone had to stay with Nora. Years of memories that never included us. My phone rang again. Cameron this time. I answered out of curiosity. Sis, you'll never believe it. Almost had a close call in the Porsche today, but man, she handles like a dream. Hey, when are Mum and Dad moving in? I might crash there for a while, between opportunities." "Cameron," I said quietly, "what do you remember about Nora's accident?" "What? Oh, that was ages ago. Listen, about the house." I hung up. Some bridges needed to burn, some people needed to learn that actions had consequences, and some cars weren't as lucky as their drivers thought. I opened my laptop and began drafting an email to Walker's attorney. The sooner we closed this deal, the sooner justice would arrive in a moving truck, wearing a smile and carrying Karma's paperwork. Dr. Sarah's office always smelled like lavender and truth. She'd been Nora's therapist for years, and somewhere along the way she'd become mine too. Today, she listened without judgment as I laid out my plan. "They thought they were coming home," I concluded, "but they're walking into exile." She tapped her pen against her notepad. "Have you considered the psychological impact this will have? Not just on them, but on you." "I've considered everything. That's what I do, remember? I'm the planner." "Rebecca," she leaned forward, "revenge doesn't heal wounds. It just creates new ones." My phone buzzed. A text from Jordan. "Paperwork's ready. Walker's signing tomorrow morning." "Maybe I'm not looking to heal," I said, showing Dr. Sarah the text. "Maybe I'm looking for justice." "And Nora, how is she handling this?" As if on cue, my phone lit up with a message from our home nurse. "Cameron just showed up at the house. Nora refused to see him. He seemed intoxicated." I stood up, gathering my things. "I have to go." "Rebecca," Dr. Sarah called after me, "remember what we discussed about trauma responses? This path you're on is the only one they left me." I broke every speed limit getting home. Cameron's Porsche was parked crookedly in my driveway, the front bumper scratched and dented. He was arguing with Maria, our nurse, at the front door. "She's my sister too," he slurred. "You can't keep me out." "Mr. Cameron, please," Maria stood firm. "Miss Nora doesn't want visitors right now." I stepped between them. "She never wants to see you, Cameron, not since the accident." He stumbled back, blinking at me. "That wasn't my fault. I didn't know she was following me to that party." "You were supposed to be watching her while I was at work. Instead, you got drunk and left her alone. She followed you because she was worried, and then—" "Ancient history," he waved dismissively. "Look, I just need to crash here for a few days. Had a little fender bender, nothing major." I looked at the Porsche. My sister's future transformed into scratched metal and entitled dreams. "Go home, Cameron, while you still have one." "What's that supposed to mean?" He squinted at me. "Mum said you're being weird about the house thing. It's just paperwork, sis. Don't be so uptight." Maria touched my arm. "Miss Rebecca, Nora's asking for you." I left Cameron swaying in the driveway and found Nora in her art room, surrounded by new paintings, dark houses, burning bridges, empty rooms. She'd been trying to warn me all along. She typed on her tablet, "He's not worth your anger." No, I agreed, but you're worth my revenge. My phone rang. Mom. Rebecca, what's this about you turning Cameron away? He's family. And why aren't you answering our calls about the house paperwork? We need to... I hung up and blocked her number. Jordan called next. Your mother just tried to file an emergency injunction claiming elderly abuse and financial manipulation. It was denied, but Beck, they're getting desperate. Good, I said, watching Nora paint. Let them feel what desperation tastes like. That night, I couldn't sleep. I went through old photos, real ones, not the staged family portraits my mother loved. Nora and me in the garden, Nora at her art therapy sessions, Nora always smiling despite everything they put her through. A crash outside sent me running to the window. Cameron had tried to leave, but hit our mailbox instead. He stumbled out of the Porsche, cursing. I called the police. Watching them arrest him for DUI, I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt. Just quiet certainty that tomorrow would bring the reckoning they all deserved. My phone lit up with a final text from Jordan. Everything's set for tomorrow. Walker's money has cleared escrow. Are you ready? I looked at Nora, peacefully sleeping in her room, surrounded by her art. Then at the moving boxes in the hall, filled with my parents' entitled assumptions. Finally, at the police car pulling away with Cameron in the back seat. Ready? I typed back. Time to show them what family really means. In less than 24 hours, they would arrive with their moving trucks and their expectations. They would find locked doors and new ownership papers. They would learn that karma doesn't knock. It changes the locks while you're out buying sports cars with stolen futures. I sent one final text to Jordan. See you tomorrow. And Jordan, thank you for helping me burn it all down. Her reply came quickly. Some fires need to burn, Beck. Some lessons need to hurt. She was right. Tomorrow would hurt. But for the first time in years, the pain wouldn't be mine to carry. The moving trucks arrived at 1:45 p.m., exactly as expected. My parents followed in their Mercedes with a sullen, hungover Cameron in the back seat. I watched from the window as they started unloading furniture onto my driveway. Walker stood beside me, contract in hand. Are you ready? I've been ready for years. I checked my phone. Jordan was parked around the corner, waiting for my signal. Mom was the first to reach the door, her smile bright and fake. Rebecca, honey, why aren't the doors unlocked? And whose car is that in the driveway? Mine, Walker stepped forward, extending his hand. I'm the new owner. The silence that followed was worth every penny of Nora's stolen trust fund. What? Dad's voice cracked. Rebecca, what is he talking about? Exactly what he said. I held up the signed contract. The house sold yesterday. Mr. Walker here is the legal owner as of this morning. Mum's smile froze, then cracked. That's ridiculous. We discussed this. The house is meant for family. Family? I laughed. Like the way you handled Nora's trust fund? That money was... Dad started. Was what? I cut him off. Emergency funds for Cameron's midlife crisis? A down payment on his ego? Cameron pushed forward, face pale from his night in jail. You can't do this! Where are we supposed to go? That sounds like a you problem, Walker said calmly. Now, if you wouldn't mind removing your belongings from my driveway. Mum's eyes narrowed. We'll fight this. We have rights. Actually, Jordan stepped out from behind the moving truck, legal papers in hand. You don't. The house was held in a living trust with immediate liquidation power. The sale is legal and binding. Jordan, Mum's voice went shrill. What are you doing here? Her job, I said. The same way I did mine for years, building Nora's future while you played favourites. Dad's face turned red. Now listen here. No, you listen. I stepped closer. You have two options. Option 1, leave now, never contact us again, and I don't press charges for the fraud you committed draining Nora's trust. Or, Cameron challenged, or I make everything public. The fraud, the theft, the years of financial abuse. I'm sure your country club friends would love to hear all about it." Mum's face went white. "You wouldn't dare." "Try me." I pulled out my phone. "I have reporters' numbers right here. They're very interested in stories about family financial abuse." "This is blackmail," Dad sputtered. "No," Jordan interjected. "This is consequences." The movers stood awkwardly by their truck, watching the drama unfold. Walker cleared his throat. "I'll need you to move these boxes immediately. They're trespassing on private property." "Rebecca," Mum tried one last time, tears forming. "Think about what you're doing. We're your parents." "No," I said quietly. "You're just people who taught me exactly what not to be." A soft whirring sound made everyone turn. Nora had wheeled herself onto the porch, her tablet in her lap. She typed quickly, and the mechanical voice rang out, "Goodbye, don't come back." Cameron stumbled forward. "Nora, please." She held up her hand, then typed again. "You left me alone that night. Now we're leaving you." Mum collapsed against the Mercedes, sobbing theatrically. Dad started making phone calls, probably to lawyers. Cameron just stood there, keys to his Porsche dangling uselessly in his hand. "I'll give you 1 hour to remove your belongings," Walker announced. "After that, anything left becomes my property." I watched them scramble to redirect the movers, to salvage what they could of their entitled dreams. Jordan touched my arm gently. "You okay?" "I will be." I looked at Nora, who was watching our family disintegrate with calm satisfaction. "We both will be." The next hour passed in a blur of boxes and bitter accusations. Mum tried guilt, Dad tried threats, and Cameron tried bargaining. None of it worked. Finally, the moving trucks pulled away, our parents' Mercedes following behind. Cameron's Porsche sputtered to life last, its dented bumper a testament to Karma's sense of humour. "This isn't your house anymore," I called after them, "and you're not my problem anymore either." Walker waited until they were gone before turning to me. "The house will be well used, I promise. I'm turning it into a respite care centre for families with disabled children." I looked at him sharply. Now I understood why Jordan had chosen him. Nora typed one final message. "Time to plant a new garden." She was right. The old one had been poisoned by years of family toxicity. But now we had fresh soil, clean air, and all the time in the world to grow something better, something honest, something ours. The envelope arrived 3 days after we moved into our new apartment. No return address, just my name in careful handwriting I didn't recognize. Inside was a short note. "Coffee, Uncle Julius?" I hadn't seen Julius in 15 years, not since that Christmas dinner when he and Dad had their explosive fight about money. Mum always said he was unstable, dangerous. Now I wondered what truth I'd missed. The cafe he suggested was quiet, tucked away from main streets. I spotted him immediately. Older, greyer, but with the same sharp eyes as Dad. Nora insisted on coming with me, her tablet ready on her lap. "Rebecca," he stood as we approached. "And Nora, you look just like your grandmother." "Why now?" I asked, sitting down. "After all these years?" He pulled out a worn leather portfolio. "Because history repeats itself in our family. I saw the listing for your house. Recognized the pattern." "Pattern?" "Your father did the same thing to me 20 years ago." He spread out old documents across the table. Power of attorney, joint accounts, family trust funds, all drained to nothing. My hands shook as I read through the papers. Legal complaints, bank statements, letters from lawyers, all telling the same story I'd just lived through. "They took everything," Julius said quietly. "My inheritance, my savings, even the house our parents left us, all in the name of family." Nora typed rapidly. "Did you fight back?" "I tried, but your father was always better at playing the system, better at making himself look like the victim." He pulled out another envelope, sealed with wax. "I wrote this the day I lost my last appeal. Said I'd give it to you if history ever repeated itself. What's in it? The truth about where your parents' money really comes from, about all the others they've done this to. He pushed it across the table. But before you open it, you need to know. This isn't just about money. It's about power. Control. My phone buzzed. A text from Jordan. Your mother's trying to contest the house sale. Claims emotional manipulation. I showed Julius the message. He laughed bitterly. Let me guess. She's playing the helpless mother card, claiming you took advantage of their trust. How did you know? Because she helped your father do the same to me. It's their pattern. They find someone who cares about family, exploit that care, then cry victim when it backfires. Nora's tablet spoke. Were there others? Julius nodded. Remember the Kents? Their daughter was engaged to your father's business partner before everything fell apart. Walker Kent, I whispered. The man who bought our house. Smart man, Julius smiled, turning your parents' game against them. But be careful. They'll escalate when they realize they can't control you anymore. As if on cue, my phone lit up with a call from Cameron. I declined it. They're already trying, I said. Mum's been calling everyone we know, telling them I've had some kind of breakdown. Dad's threatening legal action. Open the envelope, Julius said. But not here. Wait until you're home. And Rebecca, whatever you decide to do with what's inside, remember that karma isn't just about revenge. Sometimes it's about breaking cycles. Nora typed, Why didn't you tell us sooner? Julius's eyes softened. Would you have believed me? Over your parents? Over the story they'd been telling you your whole lives? He was right. I wouldn't have. Just like I hadn't believed all those whispered warnings at family gatherings, all those sudden disappearances of family friends. I didn't just sell them a house, I said slowly. I sold them a legacy they never earned. No, Julius corrected. You took back what was stolen. From you, from Nora, from everyone they've used and discarded. The question is, what will you do with that power? Later that night, after Nora had gone to bed, I opened the envelope. Inside were photographs, bank statements, and a handwritten confession from my father's former secretary. The truth was worse than I'd imagined. I called Jordan. Remember how you said we could press charges for fraud? My voice was steady. I think it's time to have that conversation again. But bigger, much bigger. Beck, what did you find? Evidence that this wasn't just about Nora's trust fund or Uncle Julius's inheritance. It's about 20 years of systematic fraud. And I think Walker Kent already knew. There was a long pause. Come to my office first thing tomorrow. And Rebecca, bring everything. I looked at the sealed confession in my hands. It's time to show them what real family loyalty looks like. The news broke on a Tuesday morning. Local business couple accused of decades-long financial fraud. By Wednesday, their country club membership was suspended. By Thursday, Cameron had crashed the Porsche, for real this time. I watched it all unravel from Jordan's office, where we'd spent the week working with investigators. 7 families, Jordan said, reviewing the files, all with the same pattern. They'd gain trust, access accounts, drain everything, then discredit anyone who complained. 8 families, I corrected. You forgot us. My phone hadn't stopped ringing since the story broke. Old family friends, distant relatives, all suddenly remembering incidents they'd dismissed years ago. But the call that mattered most came from Walker. Your parents just tried to break into the house, he said. Police are here now. I grabbed my keys, but Jordan caught my arm. Let the police handle it. That's not your house anymore, remember? No, but it's my mess. When we arrived, Mum was in handcuffs, screaming about family loyalty. Dad sat in the back of a police car, stone-faced. Cameron was nowhere to be seen. They said they were just collecting forgotten belongings, the officer explained, but they had documents with them, financial records, old contracts. We're trying to access the Home Office. Destroying evidence, Jordan muttered. Mum spotted me and lunged forward. This is your fault, after everything we've done for you and Nora. Everything you've done? I stepped closer. Like what, Mum? Like the time you considered putting Nora in a state facility without telling me? She went pale. Who told you? Your old secretary, the one you fired when she questioned Dad's accounting. She kept copies of everything, including your emails about Nora. We were trying to protect you. Mum's mascara ran down her cheeks. You were so young, taking on so much responsibility. No, I cut her off. You were trying to protect yourselves, your lifestyle, your reputation. Speaking of reputation, Jordan added, the DA is very interested in those documents Julius provided. 20 years of fraud leaves quite a paper trail. Dad finally spoke from the police car. You're destroying this family. No, I replied. I'm protecting what's left of it. My phone buzzed. A text from Cameron. They're saying I was part of it. Please tell them I didn't know. But he had known. Maybe not everything, but enough. Enough to take the car bought with stolen money. Enough to benefit from others' pain. Later that evening, I sat with Nora in our new apartment. Smaller, but somehow freer. She painted while I sorted through old photos, tearing down the fake memories, keeping only the real ones. Miss Rebecca, Maria, our nurse, appeared in the doorway. There's a reporter here. Says she wants your side of the story. I started to refuse, but Nora typed, Tell it, all of it. The reporter was young, earnest. She recorded as I laid out everything. The years of manipulation, the stolen funds, the pattern of abuse hidden behind country club memberships and luxury cars. And now, she asked, what happens to your parents? That's up to the justice system, I said. I always thought karma was a wind, but it's something you plant, and I planted mine deep. After she left, Jordan came over with takeout and files. The DA is offering your mother a deal if she testifies against your father. Cameron's lawyer called too. He's willing to return what's left of the Porsche money. Too late, I said. That money goes to Nora's new foundation, along with everything else we recover. Nora typed, Will they go to jail? Probably, Jordan answered gently. Financial fraud across state lines, multiple victims, years of documented deception. It's serious. My phone lit up with a final text from Mom. Please, Rebecca, we can still fix this, for family. I blocked her number and turned to Nora. Want to help me burn some bridges? She smiled and typed, Already painted them burning. We spent that night shredding old photos, deleting contacts, and building a wall between past and future. Jordan stayed, watching us dismantle our history piece by piece. You okay? She asked softly. No, I admitted, but I will be. We will be. Nora typed one last message before bed. Family isn't who hurts you, it's who helps you heal. She was right. I looked at Jordan, still there after everything. At Maria, who protected Nora like her own. At Walker, turning our old house into something meaningful. Maybe that's what family really was. Not the people who share your name, but the ones who share your values. Not the ones who demand loyalty, but the ones who earn it. I always thought karma was about revenge, but maybe it's really about reconstruction. About building something better from the ashes of what was burned. The verdict came down on a clear autumn morning. Dad got 12 years for fraud and financial exploitation. Mum took a plea deal for 5 years. Cameron got probation and community service, plus an order to repay his share. I didn't attend the sentencing. Instead, I sat with Nora in Walker's garden, our old garden, now blooming with new purpose. The respite care centre was opening next week. Strange being back here, Jordan said, joining us with coffee. Different energy now, Nora typed. better energy, no more secrets. My phone buzzed with a text from Uncle Julius. "It's done. You broke the cycle." "Not just broke it," I replied. "We're building something new." The foundation we created with the recovered money was already helping 3 families with disabled children. Walker had turned our former home into a safe haven for others like Nora. And somewhere in a prison cell, my parents were finally facing consequences. "Rebecca," Maria called from the porch, "there's someone here to see you." Cameron stood awkwardly by the front door, looking smaller without his designer clothes and borrowed confidence. "Hey, sis. What do you want?" "I sold the Porsche," he said. "Well, what's left of it? The money's been transferred to Nora's foundation." He shifted uncomfortably. "It's not enough, I know." Nora wheeled forward, typing. "No, but it's a start. I've been thinking about that night," he continued. "The accident. I should have been watching her, should have been there." "You should have been a lot of things," I said. "We all should have." "I'm moving away," he announced. "Got a real job, entry level, no more handouts, no more schemes, just trying to be better." Jordan touched my arm gently. "People can change, Beck, if they want badly enough." I looked at my brother, really looked at him. The entitled golden child was gone, replaced by someone who finally understood the weight of consequences. "Send us your address," I said. "When you're settled, Nora can write to you." His eyes lit up, then dimmed with understanding. Not forgiveness, not yet. Just a small opening, a chance to prove change was possible. After he left, Walker joined us in the garden. "The first families arrive next week. We've got 5 rooms ready." "See, 6, Jordan corrected. "I'm converting my home office into another bedroom." I turned to her, surprised. "You're moving in?" "Someone needs to handle the legal side of the foundation." She smiled. "Besides, I miss this garden." Nora typed rapidly. "She misses more than the garden." I felt my cheeks flush. Some things hadn't changed. My sister still saw everything. The afternoon sun painted shadows across the wheelchair ramps and widened doorways. In the distance, a moving truck brought furniture for the new residents. Life flowing forward, not stuck in the past. "I'm writing a book," I announced suddenly, "about everything that happened, about patterns of abuse and the courage to break them." "What's it called?" Walker asked. "Inheritance," I said. "But not about money, about the things we choose to pass on and the things we choose to end." My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Mum's prison email account. I deleted it without reading. Some inheritances weren't worth claiming. Nora painted as the sun set, adding colours to her latest work. No more burning houses. This one showed a garden full of light and new growth. "You know what I learned?" I said to Jordan as we watched Nora paint. "Family isn't a birthright. It's not about blood or names or inherited obligations. It's about choices. Speaking of choices..." Jordan hesitated. "That walk we talked about taking someday? Maybe it's someday?" Nora's tablet spoke. "Finally." We laughed, all of us together in this garden that wasn't ours anymore, but somehow belonged to us more than ever. Walker discussed plans for more rooms, Maria arranged flowers for the welcome centre, and somewhere in the distance, a new family drove toward hope. I thought about Mum's favourite saying, "Family takes care of family." She was right, just not in the way she meant. Real family does take care of family, not by enabling or exploiting, but by helping each other grow, heal, and become better. They had their chance to keep warm by the fire. They chose to burn down the house. But from those ashes, we built something stronger. Something true. Nora added one final touch to her painting. A small figure in a wheelchair, surrounded by people who chose to stay, to help, to love, without conditions. This was our real inheritance, not the money, or the house, or the family name, but the power to choose who we become and who we call family. And we chose well.